Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome to Social Media Fridays, episode 91. Each week we meet here to talk about what happens this week in the world of social media. With us tonight we have David Rozan. David is an SEO and has been a copywriter for 32 years, an SEO for 12 of those. You can find David on writingforseo.org. Edwin Yonk, although you can only see an empty chair at the moment, but Edwin is CEO of IDEST in the Netherlands. That's IDESTHOST.nl. Masataki Wasa has a website in the UK. It's wasaweb.net. He's also a Google top contributor on the AdSense and the Google Plus help community. You can find Masataki at wasaweb.net. Meher Bhagat is a social media dynamo and human resources specialist from Delhi in India. Is it Delhi or New Delhi?
New Delhi.
Thank you. And Tim Capper is the CEO of OnlineOwnership.com and also a Google top contributor on the Google My Business community. All right, our first topic tonight, trolls face criminal prosecution for fake online profiles.
There was a time. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
All I was saying is there was a time when we said, internet was virtual world. It's actually no more a virtual world. It's a mere reality, not exactly mere, but it's a reality now. So I think there is so much we are yet to learn and yet to say. I mean, let me just start with that and we can take the discussion later. You were saying, Masataki, something?
Yes, basically it's a new guideline for the prosecutors in the UK, or England, Wales, I think, to pursue people who harass others using fake social media IDs. So it's not a new law as such, but it's the, if you like, a new interpretation of how prosecutors should behave, or what they should consider in bringing charges against people. So it'll be interesting how this works out, because if trolls are, shall we say, not devious enough to cover their tracks, and they can be found out reasonably quickly, then it's going to be a good way to pursue those people. I think there are going to be issues when people are very good at hiding their tracks, or if people are based abroad and things like that. So it's going to be interesting how much this is going to be pursued, and whether there would be issues in terms of compliance from the social media platforms. So
I think it's not the only social media platforms. It would also have issues with countries, different countries, because every country has their own cyber laws, and some even today some countries allow Facebook, some don't. So there's so much we're going to see, because compliance is not easy, especially when it comes to cybersecurity. It's not easy, and if you take a percentage of crimes that happens today, there's a higher percentage of crime that happens today is on cyber, not actually in real life. If you look at that percentage, either it's the exchange of some text, videos. Internet, I mean, like cyber does hold a higher percentage in it. There is some type of context that is even shared. So it's not ignored. It should not be ignored. And having a real identity, I think it's important, because we all know how kids get on the internet, and making friends is easy. But we talked about this a couple of, I think, months ago, about you know the way people stalk kids. So having as an adult account, if you have an adult account, I think it's appropriate to have a real identity. There should be no fake names at least.
But that's a problem. That there's always an issue with that, isn't it? Because how do you establish someone's identity? I mean, very few institutions and organs have the ability to say for sure who you are. And in most cases, those are state organizations. You know, they issue with ID cards, they issue with passport, things like that. Now, it would seem somewhat intrusive if you have to, let's say, send a copy of your ID card or your passport in order to open an account with a social media platform. And that could be problematic, because what happens if you say or write something that isn't to the liking of the government? And you know, they can pretty well find out who you are very quickly. So there's that issue, and there's of course the issue of how do you really enforce it. You know, the costs involved in establishing someone's identity, because people can be sending in fake IDs, fake passports, things like that. So you know, how do social media platforms and others ensure that the person who's opening an account is actually the person who he or she claims to be? It's very difficult.
See, for compliance, it's always a difficult task when it comes to social media. There's numerous people, there are billions of people on Facebook. I think there's 1 billion. What is the number of people that are there on Facebook? I think that's over 1 billion, if I'm not mistaken. So it's not easy, and definitely it's. I don't think they would be actually implementing this thorough the entire way, but yes, if you're caught, you're actually caught with a fake identity. If you're really harassing someone, if you're trying to bully someone on cyber, and you're caught, even with a fake account, you're actually caught. You know, there is IPs, there are so many things. Even Facebook does take care of pretty, not very in-depth, but at least minor securities that can be considered. But as far as compliances, I think it's going to be a very tough job. You cannot just ask people to go online and actually give real identities, not have different names or nicknames, as a matter of fact. So yeah, but I think it's a good idea, but it's going to be very hard to implement.
I think in most cases of harassment and things like that, bullying, there's a real life element to it. You know, unless you're famous or somehow notorious, I think it's relatively rare for people to randomly target someone. Usually there is a real life conflict somewhere, or you know, that escalates into cyberbullying or cyber stalking and harassment.
Yeah, I mean, this is the UK CPS or whoever is not going to be sitting trawling through Facebook looking for someone that's got a blue head calling themselves Donald Duck that lives in the UK and go, aha, you know, this is specifically for obviously, you know, gross and offensive trolling based upon someone in the UK. Now, on the flip side of this, you know, it's not like it's you know, in the UK, the way kind of laws are set up, and this is also for businesses and reviews. It's the onus is on the publisher, and I don't care who these frickin' companies are, whether they be Facebook or Google or Yelp or Yext. I don't give a flying continental who they are or where they say they're based. Yeah. The point is if you want that particular page to be visible in the UK, then you abide by the UK's laws. If you are the publisher, and if someone is publishing something which either in this instance is obviously offensive or threatening behavior which breaks a law, or whether you post a libel comment, or whether you post a damaging business review which isn't true, at the end of the day, the publisher has published it, they are liable for it. So a way that a publisher can protect themselves is to ensure that that person is 100% identifiable as who they are. Because the way it works is you either then approach the publisher and say, well, I want the full name and address, and after we've basically dealt with them legally, we're coming after you as the publisher. You know, either remove it now or stand by the comment, and then we'll take you to you in court. So if you want to do business in the UK, you stick by the laws. I don't care who you are. That's the way it is at the end of the day. If you want to be visible in the UK, that's just the way it's going to be. So, end of.
And I think it's very good, you know, it's a very crystal clear compliances, and it's actually a great measure, because Facebook or any other social media platform is not going to be responsible for crime in that country. And if you are giving a platform that basically connects people from that country, and if the government wants the system to be open and sharing information, if asked, they should be. And if they're asking you to remove something, it should be done.
Yeah. I mean, I see people in the States, it's like, bloody hell, you know, you can literally write something anywhere in the States, and their bullshit freedom of expression stuff, right, which there are obviously certain limitations, but to basically get something removed as the actual party that's literally, I would call, a victim of this crime, right? Flipping out. You got to go through, you know, it'll cost you a fortune to go through the courts to eventually get these idiots, these publishers, who then say, oh, you know, I mean, I don't get how the Americans think that a publisher can actually create a disclaimer for someone that's published something on their site as, oh, well, we're not responsible for what's published on my site. What? They're Muppets, man, Muppets. And they're, you know, they should, you know, literally people have to put up with whatever's written about them, unless you've got the money to go through the court system to eventually get it removed, which I think is completely wrong. You know, there should be some other way of, you know, protecting one's business or one's own personal, as if it was in a personal attack from person to person. A person should not have to put up with that kind of threatening stuff from anyone.
Yeah. Excuse me. There are differences in that, you know, for harassment, you know, if you're going to go after someone for harassment, that's a crime. That's somewhat different from what's being left as expression on a publisher's site.
Yeah.
You know, because you were talking about act of harassing and harassment, and there's someone harassing someone else. So, you know, you really have to go and catch the person who's, you know, harassing the other person.
Yeah. But I mean, on the other side, if I said in the States that so and so and so is a liar and a cheat, and blah blah blah, without actually one post. So it's not harassment because they've only made one post. But what they've clearly said is defamation.
Yeah.
Even
so
then, just to get something like that done or taken removed or done or removed or taken down in the States cost you an absolute fortune. The beauty
Yes.
is here.
And defamation isn't mentioned within the categories, right?
No, because defamation is mostly, I think in most cases, is a civil issue. It's not a criminal matter. If you harass someone, then it's a criminal matter.
Yeah. But whereas defamation here is also civil, however, the problem there is in here, it's the onus is on the publisher of that content. If the person wrote it on their own personal blog, then you would have to track down the own person, blah, 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 via that means. But if it's posted on Facebook or Google or any other platform out there, the onus is on the publisher. Whereas in the States, basically, they just disclaim from anything that's ever written on or published on their site, which is laughable, man.
No, I think you have a point that the platforms should be more proactive, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think.
But in this case, it is really about criminal, and they basically have 4 categories. They say they have 3 categories, but according to the article, there are actually 4 categories. One is when there is a credible threat to an individual. Second one is harnessment, stalking, or revenge porn. The third one is breaches of a court order. The fourth one is false information that could cause anxiety.
Yeah, so it's not just false information, but causes anxiety. That's the
That last one. That's important.
Yeah. So, and of course, the person harassing that has to intend to cause that anxiety, because it's a criminal matter. The person has to intend maliciously to cause anxiety or to do damage.
Yeah, if you are afraid to go out of the door because someone posted on your Facebook wall, "I know where you are," multiple times a day, then that person is could be prosecuted, right?
Yeah, and even if let's say Facebook takes down all those messages, the person might be creating multiple accounts, things like that, and it can, so they have to go after the person who's actually harassing the victim.
Yes.
So that's where it's slightly different from sort of defamation, libel cases.
And these people, right, maybe the ex-partners or family,
neighbors,
neighbors.
I know on the flip side.
Oh, go ahead, Tim.
I know on the flip side of all of it is, look, I know you should never have to put up with that crap on a social media platform or any platform anyway. You shouldn't have to put up with the crap. But on the flip side of it is actually quite simply delete your freaking account so you don't see that crap.
Yeah, I think.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but these people go from profile to profile from different social platforms, right?
No, I know. But what I'm saying is, if you, I'm not defending in any way, shape, or form like these freaking idiots. What I'm saying is, if you are a victim of like just for some reason all these trolls wherever just how they work. They work in packs, and all of a sudden they descend upon you and delete your freaking account and don't look at it, because if you're not looking at it, it's not affecting you in any way, shape, or form. In that sense,
so that's debatable, isn't it? Because what can happen is then the person might, you might be impersonated on the platform. You leave the platform, okay, I'm not going to see this. All your friends are still there, all your family members are still there, and then there's one of the trolls impersonating you on that platform. That can cause real harm. Obviously, even if that's not the case, people posting false or libelous things or otherwise nasty things about people, that could affect the people whom you know in real life, or family members, friends, acquaintances.
I'm sure one of your family members would drop you an email going, "Wow, did you really just say that?" And you'd go, "What? I'm not on Facebook. Well, I'm not on Twitter." They go, "Oh,
yeah,
report it as a fake profile or whatever." But you know what I mean?
Yeah, but
listen, the point I'm trying to say is you will not be affected by trolling if you were never on these frickin' things in the first place. Reading about it, because okay, so someone creates a fake profile and starts trolling your family or whatever and friends. I mean, it's like, yeah, well, actually, I'm not even on that. But anyway.
Yeah.
And I'm sure your family would verify that you are actually not on there, and they would realise that it's a fake fucking profile and report it. I mean, let's face it, social media shouldn't take over someone's freaking life.
No, that's true, but for most people,
I know it does, because you get all these cases every year in every different country. Some poor kid gets bloody bullied and then kills themselves, hangs themselves, commits suicide. So yes, it does, and especially with kids, because they're so ingrained. They've grown up with social media. They think they can't separate their lives from it, whereas we've grown up not even having a flipping computer. And flipping dial-up telephones, and you have to leave messages with the next mum, and you've got to go to a payphone to phone your mate to go out. So we can see the separation. I mean, I could quite easily turn off for the next. Obviously, I mean, I'm online for business, but let's say I won the lottery and I didn't need to get in touch with anyone. I could quite easily turn everything off. Wouldn't make a difference to me, Go chill on the beach and happy days. But I can understand how kids have grown up. But the point is, at the end of the day, turn it off, disconnect, delete profiles. Your life's not going to end because you don't have a flipping Facebook page. I mean, I know that Facebook has integrated itself so much into people's psyche that they think they need Facebook or Twitter or something like this. Actually, you don't. Your life is not going to end. Your job's not going to come to an end. You're not going to stop being paid just because you don't have a Facebook profile. Sometimes you need to get a bit more savvy about it and go, do I really need this crap in my life? No thanks. Poof, gone.
Unfortunately, just basing this discussion around social media isn't the whole problem. My own experience is not from a false troll account, but from the owner of a forum who, for a period of 2 years or more, posted a load of rather nasty lies about my honesty and my abilities in business. Unfortunately,
I hope you had him in court, man.
Sorry?
I hope you had him in court.
He had no. He had no. He basically had no money. Didn't own his property. His business didn't have any money in it. And my solicitor.
Well, why wasn't it taken down?
That description fits just about all of us, I reckon.
Yeah. Well, if I may finish what I'm saying, I went to see more than one solicitor, the feeling was it would take something like £12,000 to take the guy to court, which I wouldn't see the back of, which I wouldn't get anything back of. And the police, when I went to see them about it, weren't interested. So eventually got bored.
Yeah, okay, but really, I think you were given some seriously bad advice, because you could take this to court straight away yourself for free. First page, take screenshots, whatever. This is what's been said. Judge would go, yeah. If the guy actually wanted to turn up, can you fucking prove what you've just said? The onus is on them to prove it's completely and accurately true. The guy then, if he had turned up, would have said no. The judge would have said it's got to come down. Boom! You go straight to the host, the web servers. There's a court order, mate. Get rid of it.
I don't know. I took advice.
Your own time.
I took advice from people who told who I was advised to talk to about this matter. We're talking 2 years ago now. I don't know if that makes any difference, but all I'm saying is that a discussion around trolling and people people doing harm to other people's lives is not just done secretly over Facebook. There are all sorts of other things that happen online, and the powers that be, shall we say, are not equipped to do anything sensible about it, which is why it happens.
Well, this has always been in our laws, and over 10 years ago, I had some tit in the Cumbrian County Council who thought, idiotically enough, he was under some form of parliamentary privilege, which they're not. That was said in an open, something about my character in an open public place, and that was also then published in the minutes on their cumbrian.gov.uk website.
Mm-hmm.
So all that took was filed a libel in court. It cost me, I think, to file it in those days, register the action was 20 quid, probably 100 quid now or something like that. They turned up with freaking like 20 solicitors and blah blah blah. I had screenshots of the page which they had removed at the time, and they were ordered to take it down straight away, and every single one of the idiots in the room were ordered to pay me damages, but that was ordered there and then as the publisher to take down straight away. I mean, that's been our laws forever.
If I understand David correctly, it was structural, right? That particular owner of the forum was posting multiple posts, no? Or
yes, multiple posts that he would leave up for a while and then take down again. And yes,
yeah.
As I say,
So in that situation, I would advise to get a solicitor. That's a serious offense. So I would seek legal help. And yes, that costs a lot of money.
You can do it for free if you want to. 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, in your case, it was just one post, right? Or
yes, but
yeah.
The point here is the publisher. This guy is publishing on whether it's irregardless of whether he owned the actual website, the forum, or whoever. It's irrespective. One solicitor's letter to the owner of the site or the host, saying you either prove it in court or you take it down. End of. Solicitor's letters, 50 quid.
Yeah, times 100, right? Because they're
well, that one
structural, right?
This one we can rule out straight away, which was this guy has a number of people he doesn't like. I somehow got myself on that list in ways that I'm not entirely sure of. And he has had solicitors' letters, and he's just binned them, not taken any. Not taken
Yeah, but
any.
what I'm saying is who is, because you see, if you go down the whole list of one, he wrote it. Okay, so who owns the domain and who's hosting it? So because ultimately then you go to the next level of who's actually publishing it, and that's the host. And I guarantee you, hosts they do not care about whoever's bought a domain from them or is hosting a website on them. If they start saying, right, we'll see you in court because you need to prove what was written on this website that you're freaking hosting, then they'll take it down tomorrow.
Well, if he does it again, I shall be knocking on your door and asking for your way around this, because I spent months talking to people about this.
Well,
and,
well, even Google lost this in court 2 years ago. Someone was posting crap on .co.uk blog spots. Even Google lost in the UK courts. Google attempted to say, but it's not hosted in the UK and it's not published by us, but published by this person. And the judge was, you're having a laugh, mate. You're hosting it. You're the publisher. Get rid of it. Even Google lost, what, two years ago in court. But and then Google got a bit sneaky and they started displaying it on .com because you take down the dog. We know, but that's come back to bite them on the arse. So, instead of being idiots, they should have learned from that and actually been the bigger person and said, yeah, all right.
Going back to the article, and I think it's pretty similar in the Netherlands. It's that the police or the prosecutors are not interested or educated enough for online bullying or online harassment. So that's what I think this paper is about, to show the prosecutors what they should be doing when people come with these requests, right?
Yeah, I think.
Well, funny enough, according to the UK police, whenever they broach to the subject about crimes on the rise or this is on the rise, they always say, oh yeah, or there's not enough cops on the streets. They always go, yeah, but we're trying to deal with this unprecedented rise in online cybercrime and stuff like that. So idiots. They always, on one hand, they go, oh, we're not equipped to deal with it. On the other hand, they use it to their advantage to go, oh yeah, but we're dealing with all of this now. That's why we're not on the streets. Cheeky buggers.
I think.
Yeah, they always want more money. That's.
I think it might be similar to domestic violence a while ago. I mean, it took a long time for domestic violence to be, accepted. That would be the wrong word, but to be considered as real crimes, proper crimes that police should be involved in and the CPS should prosecute. So I think we're going to see that it's going to be a process now that online harassment is a real thing, can have devastating effect on people, and should be taken seriously. And I think we're in that process, and hopefully in a few years we'll reach at a place where there is a social acceptance. Saying, look, this is a real crime affecting real people, having real consequences, and I think it's in that direction. It's a step in that direction, and for that reason, I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, and it'll probably increase in terms of consequences as us as an older generation that aren't so crazily integrated, and as the millennials, start creating their own generations of people that are so ingrained in social media that as it will just naturally increase because there'll be more and more people who are integrated online, and can't see that they don't need a social profile to actually live.
Yeah, and the main problem is also that if the police isn't doing anything, you cannot proceed with criminal law, right? You immediately have to go to civil law, and that is quite expensive, or that can be quite expensive. Like that, like in David's, what happened to David?
Well, there was also and Rob Mars.
Oh yeah, Rob Mars, yes.
He had to go to court, and then dickhead Google was removing TLD by TLD by. I think ultimately Rob had to go to what he was obviously in the Netherlands, and then he went to another country also. I think was it Belgium or Austria or somewhere.
No,
He went to another court, and then he had to go through that process, and eventually it's still on .com. Obviously, it's just over the time; it's faded now, but it's still there live on .com. I mean, it's like that is a serious piss take.
Yes, yes.
You know, I've got no sympathy when it comes to Google and taking a piss like that. And there shouldn't be for any other poster like Facebook or anyone else. People should not have to pull up that crap.
Well, but there are people. I was reading an article on FAI from FAI in 2015. That was just almost 4 months ago that I read this article. That pretty much said that cyberbullying has actually increased almost 50% in 2015 than what it was in 2012. And see, it's, you know, we might take it lightly or any other way, but there are people who are actually getting humiliated. There are people who are getting mentally unstable because of such comments or such, you know, behavior, online behavior. No matter, you know, whatever the end result is, but there has to be some, kind of serious rules and regulations to post something and practice freedom of speech, at least online. You know, there has to be some serious rules and regulations for people joining in and making comment. Because it's
the funny thing is, I don't know where people get this idea that, okay, obviously in America, so we're not talking with completely different. I don't know where people get this weirdo idea that what they write online is like not attached to them in terms of legal responsibility. You know, if people just realize that actually, and this comes down to obviously police again, and in different countries taking things like really seriously and cracking down on it, which I suppose is very difficult because they're probably under-resourced or it just grew so exponentially that they don't, you know, so there's a lot of obviously reasons, but the more and more they start cracking down, the more and more people will ultimately, over time, you're always going to have weirdos, but over time there will be a better sense of actually I am responsible for what I write, and if it comes back to me, I can be held either civilly liable or criminally liable for whatever I've done, particularly online. I suppose it'll have to be the policing that'll have to catch up with just the massive surge, you know, with the amount of people online. But I don't get how people think they can. Yeah.
The report I was saying was for teens actually, from age 11 to 18. And I believe if something like this is actually implemented to these age groups, I think it's a necessity, you know. And if they are not accountable, if they are still in teens and kids, and whatever reason, excuse we want to give them for their misconduct or irresponsible behavior, I think their parents should be at least liable for it.
But that's, yeah, I mean, because you said from 11 till, so, I mean, I think most social places are, I think, in minimum age is 13, for example.
It has to be, because of COPPA.
Yeah. So, you know, that could be one way. I'm just like theorizing here. That could be one way. They find all the fake profiles created by the parents or the kid giving a fake date, I mean, how are you really going to do it? I don't know. Cross-reference some massive database on birth registries. I don't know. But let's just assume it. That could be one way of just saying, right, okay, oh, we've caught this kid, it's 11, or this one's 12, and yeah, slap the parents with like a, I don't know, something that's going to hurt. £5,000 fine. Boom, that's it. Broke the law. Boom, £5,000. Tell you what, that will soon sort out responsibility online. I mean, obviously you're going to have to find them and blah blah blah. But I mean, if tomorrow 100,000 UK households got a £5,000 fine in coming through the door, because either them or the kid created a profile not under the age of 13 years of age, that would, I mean, can you imagine the news coverage, and then of course some of them would refuse to pay, and then you just chuck them in prison. I don't care, chuck the kids in prison with them at the same time. People need to start taking responsibility. I'll tell you what, massive news coverage, and I reckon that would probably stop most under 13-year-olds having a social media profile. In the UK, at least. I mean, what I'm saying is, stop pissing about. Get tough with it.
And in a few years' time, we will have the millennials and others who have grown up with social media for a long time. They can become teachers. And I think it's going to be really important to teach little children what to do or what not to do online. And I think that's the important thing, because I don't think teachers get it. It's just a generational thing. We are not equipped to teach this. The children know more about how things work online.
Yeah, true. I mean, when my phone updates and I'm like, what the hell's going on here? Claudia, sort it out. Do you know what I mean? That's just the way it works. I'm like, child, fix.
Yeah, so I don't think teachers are equipped to teach this aspect of life. But in a few years' time, that might be different, because we'll have people who have personal experience, who have grown up with this environment, being able to teach younger children. So hopefully that makes it better too. And I think in the end, it's about the social attitude and what the society deems as appropriate or acceptable. And because it's not, there's a limit to how much criminal prosecutions you can bring about. It is about social attitude. It is about social acceptance. And if there is a greater consensus, then there'll be fewer outlying cases, which then will be prosecuted to the fullest force of the law. And I think that would really calm things down. I think we're still in that period of time, after all the new excitement, the lawlessness of it, the exponential growth of it, we still don't know how to deal with that yet. Not just in terms of law, but in terms of how we, as a society, accept it.
And then there should also be, because they should also start looking at people that, it's mental. I mean, you get people that essentially are accused of something online, which then ends up getting them killed in the real world by vigilante neighbors. I mean, it's like people sometimes need to wake up and, they also need to be, like you said, just be taught that actually stuff that you read online sometimes isn't true, even Wikipedia. Oh, bless them, the ignoramuses of this world.
Do you call me?
Yes, ma'am.
I was about to say, Tim is older than you, Jim. He's so old. He gets his kids to do his stuff on phone.
Yeah, I do. I have to, literally. It's like if I'm doing something, I don't know, let's say I'm trying to do something with a spreadsheet that I just can't find the thing on the spreadsheet. Claudia! And what? Come here now. How do I? I want this table, that table, this column to give me a total there. Oh yeah, all right. I'm like, okay, fine, good. Go back, leave now. Phone's not working. Claudia, fix.
Do you revert to South African accent?
Yeah. It's funny because I'm trying to. I certainly made a big mistake, and I'll totally admit I made a big mistake of not speaking to an Afrikaans and kind of Dutch when she was a kid, when she was growing up as a child. So she would obviously, have a second language. I mean, she obviously does French in school now, but so we kind of take the mickey now. I don't know how it's happened, but whenever we're talking to each other, we put on heavy Afrikaner accents, and my friends think she's nuts, and even Heather looks at us and goes, "Will you two bloody grow up? Will you stop it? I can't understand what you're talking about." Which is, although we're just speaking English, but in a real Afrikaner accent. Yeah, for some reason. Yeah, she's my little Afrikaner baby. Yeah.
All right. Let's move on to the next. Is that a good idea?
Yeah, I think we killed this one.
I think we all did.
All right. Google Plus posts in search results. We had a bit of a chat with this before we came on. Tim's off for coffee. Would somebody else like to respond to this one?
No, actually, it's not from Google Plus. It is a test from Google. Search engine Lens wrote an article about it, and it's basically a test to see if people like it. And they are called cards, or local business cards. So,
like Twitter cards.
yeah. For me, it looks like Twitter cards.
Not really. Twitter cards, it's completely different. It's different. This is completely different. I realized one of you guys said that the post on Google Plus page and this particular page that we're talking about was different. No, it's same. If you notice, only the top 5 posts were there, not beyond that. So I think it's only taking top 5 of the particular page post to share across. If you guys notice, the top first 5 posts that this what's the name? Let me just see. Andrew's Jewelers. If you look at the page, Google Plus page that I shared with you guys on the link.
Yes.
The top first 5 posts on this particular page on Google Plus.
Yes.
And when you look at the search results, you would see only first 5 posts there as well. It's same. It's same.
No, I'm not seeing that.
I've seen the page, the actual Google Plus local business page, and the search results as well. So the top 5 posts match the exact same order.
Well, on the Google Plus profile, it starts with our 3D printer.
Yeah.
And I'm not seeing the first one. You finish this custom designs.
Let me reopen that. As soon as Tim gets the access, I'm sure he's going to love this. He's waiting on it.
Yeah. So they do match.
They do match, right?
Well, except for the first one. The first card doesn't. And try this one. Health choice.
Yeah, 3D printer is there. It's the very first post. It was posted 4 days ago.
Yeah, but the first one isn't there. Then what is it? For me, the first one is we just finished this custom designed Masonic ring for one of our customers.
Okay. I am gonna do a quick Google search. That was posted 3 days ago. I don't see a post that was posted 3 days ago anywhere on that page. So maybe it's selective, but how selective?
Or
I don't
it's
know.
just a different platform, right? Deze. And the health choice isn't. I don't get it.
What are you looking at?
At Google Plus business pages for the
jewelers.
Yeah.
No, I'm now looking for a healthy choice. And I don't see a Google Plus page for that. Or at least the cards don't match.
No, they don't match.
2 of the posts don't match. 3, in fact. They are showing, 6 posts in total. I think 6, 5, 5. No, that's 6 in total.
So I don't think they're related. Sure, they can cross post.
But it should be showing on the stream, shouldn't it?
Well, if this is from Google Plus, I would think so. But,
yeah, and even when the images are the same or similar, the copy is different, as far as I can see. Or am I looking at the wrong thing?
One of the posts says 3 days, and I don't see anything that was posted 3 days ago on their page, on their business local business page. So, is it possible they have another page as well?
Well, I think at the moment they are completely separated.
Did you guys have a chance to check out if this is a part of any other program, Google program? As a partial part of Google program, like maybe AdSense or something like that. But doesn't look like AdSense.
At the moment, it is all custom content and not being drawn from Google My Business or any other feeds.
Mm-hmm.
And the format was created with mobile users in mind. So this will probably be used for Google now. Right? They have a little bit of the same format.
Yeah, it's certainly not coming from Google Plus. I mean, I just looked at the Hillary Clinton ones and then actually eventually found the official Hillary Clinton's Google Plus page, and she's only ever made one post, which was in 20th of August 2015, which obviously was when she changed her profile image, the photo. So yeah, I mean, this is a test. They've obviously been given their own, like a separate posts.google.com kind of login. But like I said, ideally this should be integrated in some way or form. You should be able to switch between posts and like a Google Plus post and one of these posts, or I don't know. I have to wait and see when they decide to roll it out. I suppose they're using the elections because the official thing said, you know, obviously it's for elections and then we're still running tests and other, but I suppose they're going to run and see how it works with the elections, if it's clicked on, and then make a decision whether they're going to roll it out. Because there's still a good year worth of these elections, isn't it? I think. Is it next year that they do the elections, or is it this year?
It's this year.
Yeah, November. So they're going to have you know, a good chunk of time worth of data to see whether anybody's actually ever clicked on these, I suppose, read them or clicked through from them, or yeah.
And Andrew from Buffalo will be happy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very happy, I think.
Well, hopefully, I applied, but like I said, they generally don't pick people from the UK to run these things. But if they ever do, we can then get a slightly better idea on where it's being integrated and how, when, where.
Yeah. The interesting thing would be, how is it going to be differentiated from Google Plus? Because they look pretty similar, you know, in terms of post and so forth. So you don't want to duplicate the two. You don't want to have something that's very similar and hard to distinguish. You don't want two competing platforms, as it were, running in the same space. So yeah, it'd be interesting how it's set up and how it's working, and it'd be interesting to know whether it has to be an original content that's been posted through a particular route, because I can't see the same content anywhere. Tim, you put live example of the Clinton campaign, and you click on some of them, and from the length it looked like tweets, you know, it looked like a tweet, but I can't find it in the among the tweets by Hillary Clinton, so I'm not 100% sure how
Hang on,
it's generated. Have you found it?
I've found one pulling from
Uh-huh.
a feed from Hillary Clinton from her website.
Oh. Oh. Don't say they're bringing back Google Reader.
That's weird. Yeah. Hold on. Okay, check this out here. Let me share. Oh no, God, I'm in Incog. Can I share that? Yeah, I'm sure I can. Can I? Share screen. Share screen. No. So on this, yeah, let me show this one. So check this URL and the page it redirected to, and then of course look at. So that's. Copy this. What's going on? Okay, check there how it's numbered out in feeds. Obviously, I suppose not everyone's done it like that, but and then it's Google Podium, which is what this thing is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, you'll have to look at the second URL. They merged there. So that look at the second one, the Hillary Clinton one.
Yeah. Okay.
And then those numbers, and if you look on the URLs, they're different numbers which correlate to those feeds that she's showing there. Well, not all of them actually, because there's different ones.
Yeah. So.
So I don't know where some have come in. Some are from that feed, but then there's other ones which were probably posted directly. I don't know.
I think they are just cross-posting at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah, because some are from that feed, and some are direct. There's no actual feed being pulled. Hey ho.
But yeah, that would be better if there was a feed or some way to make your article, or what do you have in those cards, right? So if you use XML, an XML feed, or JSON LD or whatever.
We've lost David and Mahir.
Oh. Well, as long as we have Tim.
Yeah. The UTM campaign is interesting, isn't it?
Now we lost
Oh
Tim.
no, we've lost Tim.
Oh. Well, shall we close off, Jim?
Yep, I'm happy to do that. I just didn't know if you guys wanted to continue on or not. Well, let's. I think I forgot to tweet that. No, I didn't. Okay.
Well, thanks for the reminder.
All right. We don't have any eyes on us now, but I'm sure someone will look at this later. Thank you for your interest in what we do. It makes what we do worthwhile. We appreciate it very much. We'll be back at the same time next week to do this all again. But for now, it's good night. Thank you again.